Hello and welcome back to Good Terms Off-Road Adventures. It's May, and it's windy. But that's alright. We've got Darth, we've got Dusty. We're going to go out looking for some things today. Things I found on the Google Earth thing, and also some things I found in a couple of books. But even if we don't find those things, guess what? It's going to be a great day, because we're in the desert, we're riding. Stick around. Alright, well hello once again viewers. Our first stop I believe is the thing called a Spanish Arrastra. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Basically what that is a round rock circle thing that the miners would put rocks in, and there's a big stone wheel, and they would have donkeys or burros walking around in circles crushing the ore. I found this in a book, and I don't remember the name of the book at the moment, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the screen there since I've forgotten what it's called. We're going to turn right, go this way. Anyway, found it in the book, and what's interesting is the book literally just calls it the Spanish Arrastra. It does not mention anything else about the site. However, on the Google Earth, I discovered that it looks like there's the remnants of a very old little mine complex. Pretty certain the Spanish, when they were here, did not build it. That's just what it's called, the Spanish Arrastra. Anyway, we're going to head on kind of a yonder that way direction and see if we can find it. Alright viewers, we're going to have to turn around. I didn't actually mark the roads to get to where we're going. I just kind of marked the spot, so just trying to find roads that are closest, and this is not it. Well, y'all, I feel like we're coming up on it.
We found it, the Spanish Arrastra. Let's check it out. I'm going to do a voiceover here because it's just too windy to even try to record audio. You can see there's two rings next to each other, which is quite rare. Actually, I don't even know if that's true. That's just what the book says, so I'm going to go with it. There's also a mine here, which is not actually mentioned in the book, so let's check that out. Passover 2014. Okay. Looks like a homemade gantry here used to extract the rich stuff. Let's see if we can get a better view inside the mine from over here. Ah, I almost tripped over the support wire. Watch where you're walking, man. Okay, this view's pretty cool. I can see the ladders dropping down into the mine, a little hole off to the side. Even the ore bucket is still there. Wait, what's over here? Tracks? We'll come back to that. The trolleys on the gantry were electric. That's pretty neat. Let's see where these tracks go. They weren't visible from where we parked, so this is a fun surprise. They actually go back pretty far, and into the line. Now that's a cool view. Okay. What are these tracks made from? Ha! T-post. That's pretty clever. Alright, let's head back. What? Is that a toilet?
Well, viewers, that was successful. We checked out an old mine. But you can see it's not as old as it would suggest by the name with the Arastra called the Spanish Arrastra. You know, that's just what it's called. It wasn't built, obviously, in the times of the Spanish being here, if they were here. But that's just the style of the thing. And it's unusual because there's two of them, which I only know that's unusual because that's what the book said. Anyway, a little bit of a view down into the open pit mine shaft there. Somebody was nice enough to put a little fence around it so you don't fall in, unless you're really smart, climb the fence and fall in. But it was really neat. You could see the head frame that was kind of made out of apparently scrap metal. Sorry, I needed a drink. Anyway, the head frame made out of scrap metal, it looked like, with a little trolley and a hoist. What I didn't expect to see next to it was ore cart tracks. Now, those ore cart tracks, of course, seem to be made out of, what do you call it? The T-posts that you pound into the ground to make a fence post out of, welded together and screwed down or bolted down to some wood, which you do what you got to do, I guess, when you're out here in the desert trying to find the gold. Anyway, on to our next stop, little cabins and things that I found on the Google Earth thing. I believe it's Coolgardie Camp, not sure, but we're going to go head that way and see if we can find it. Okay, there we go. And what is that for? Don't know. Okay. Yeah, X marks the spot. That's what Tam just said to me in the thing. She said, X marks the spot. Sure. Unfortunately, viewers, with this part of the desert, there's no road that takes you exactly where you want to go. So you end up kind of zigzagging a little bit, getting to where you're wanting to go, just because that's the way the roads are out here for whatever reason. should be coming up on a left here shortly. Not a problem. Listen, while we're waiting for the dust to get out of the wife's eyes back there, didn't know if y'all knew this, but Joshua trees only grow about a foot every 10 years. And until they get to about 60 or so years old, they don't start blooming. So they only start actually blooming to produce more Joshua trees once they're roughly about 60 years old, which means they're going to be about 6 feet tall. I didn't know that. Well, I mean, I knew that, but I didn't know that before I knew it, but I know it now, so I can tell you all about it. Anyway, we're probably just about ready to go. Well, I was looking there's a couple of cabins here, and I've got them marked. I'm not seeing them. Well, viewers, I was looking for some cabins. I've seen them before, many years ago. They're showing up on the Google, but it looks like they're just now gone. But that's okay. Had to do a battery change on all the cameras here. Anyway, a bit of a bust, you know. I was looking to show these cabins that were here, but they seem to not be here anymore. So, bummer, but on to the next. Our next thing we're going to try to find is called a Spanish treasure marker. And I see a cabin off in the distance. And it makes me wonder if that's it. Well, let's go see what that cabin is. We don't want to get too close in case I don't recognize it. I don't want to get too close in case it is more recent and maybe somebody's there with one of their little claims. So we're going to go see what it is if we can get over there to it. Oh, that says restricted route, so we don't want to go there. That also says restricted route. So we'll jump up here to Coolgardie Road, which is, it's like a freeway out here in the middle of the desert. Restricted route. This is a road. I see signage. You can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friends, not the pick. I don't understand that. Interesting. Well, what is around here? There's obviously an open pit, and it's fairly recent. There's a grate there. Really interesting. Yeah, so this is the cabin we saw. We were over that kind of way over there. This is the cabin we saw. Huh. Interesting. We'll have a look inside from out here because there's nothing in there. Interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Okay then. Let's go that way. Yep. Well, we're not finding the cabins I was looking for, but we found some things that I wasn't looking for. And this is what's interesting I saw on the way in. So there's a grate here with a hole. And then clearly this big thing with a ladder. That is neat, and it's sealed. You're not getting in there. Once again, we're not going to get out and wander around, or get off and wander around, but maybe this is the one I was looking for. Okay, apparently I can't read Google Maps. That's fine. Big open pit there. Let's come down in here. So this is interesting. It almost looks like this may have been like storage for something, maybe a greenhouse, I don't know. Oh, and here's the cabin. We can come inside here. It's like a little garage. Bit of a locker, some more lockers up there. Nice cement foundation, so you know this isn't terribly old. And we'll get nice and close here. We can have a look inside. Who drew those when they were in high school on their notebooks? Yeah. This actually is the cabin I was looking for. It's supported by pillars made out of cement that were formed in 5-gallon buckets. That's pretty neat. Here we go, get another look at the inside. Huh, pretty neat. Team swine, I don't know why. My wife has informed me there's some grave markers over here. We're going to check those out. Old pressed. Nope, I got to get off so I can read because I can't read if I'm sitting on the thing. Old prospect. I can't talk either. Old prospector Donald D. Kinney, rest in peace, born 1916, died 1995, that looks like. Pretty neat. Let's there's another one, or another something over there. Let's see what that says. Oh yeah, it's just another covered hole. Very interesting. Yeah, can't see down there. Interesting. Okay. Well, this was pretty good. Now we just need to find a road that goes in a that way sort of direction. if there is such a thing. I don't see any roads. That's all right. We know the way. It's another hole. More holes. Another little shack. And I mean a little shack. Oh, a road that goes in a direction we want to go. Perfect. Well, viewers, just when I thought we were SOL, you know, something out of luck, trying to find that cabin, it presented itself. Just gotta look in the right spot, that's all. I'm doing my best to stay on the roads, folks. It's sometimes not so easy out here. Sometimes you'll see the restricted marker, it'll be blown down. You don't see it till you've, well, ever. Go back and watch the video and then find them there. But do our best. Anyway. These are the ruins of the actual overnight halt for the Ballarat stage. So they would have a guy there that lived there, like a caretaker. Windbreak. I was hoping, because I knew we were going to be in this canyon. There's a rock there. Alright, so we've made it to a place where there's a cool cave right there. Like I said, that's not what we're looking for the Spanish treasure marker. That was a fly right there. Anyway, we're looking for the Spanish treasure marker. We're going to hike in a that way sort of direction and see if we can find it. Now, a couple of years ago, I did try to come back here and find it. I'll link that video somewhere, but I was not successful. Okay, now in the book it says, follow the wash. So we shall follow the wash. Watch where we're stepping. Keep an eye out for snakes. All those things. Well, the wind is a lot better down here. Well, that's lovely. Well, if I don't find it, at least this little canyon's pretty neat to look at. I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. Here's a reminder on the screen what we're looking for. Wow, some actual blue sky. I haven't seen that much today. Anyway, I have not yet seen anything that remotely looks like what we're looking for, with that big boulder sitting on top. Keep an eye out for the snakes. We don't need that happening to us. Let's see what's down here. Noise scared me. It was just the wind rustling in the bushes. It sounded like something was coming up behind me. We're probably gonna call it scary. Pretty far away from the quads and where the wife is. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find it. Getting it today. In fact, pretty far, like I said, from where the quads. My wife is sitting, hanging out, and I haven't found anything that remotely looks like it. And honestly, from the actual GPS coordinates given from the book, we're easily a quarter of a mile, maybe a half mile past it, where it was supposed to have been. And I'm out of breath. I'm old. Out of shape. You know, all those things. Anyway, I'm just gonna hike on back down to the quads. And I don't know, maybe it's facing the way we didn't see it, but anyway, I'll see you once we're back down at the quads. Okay, I almost tripped. That's great. Pay attention. Man, I tell you what, every now and then the wind comes up through the little brush and stuff that's on the ground. It doesn't sound like wind. Sometimes it sounds just like an animal. A little frightening at times, just because you expect to hear the wind, that's fine, but you expect to hear that. And it makes me look, and it's just the wind blowing the brush around. Anyway, back to walking. Well, I'll be damned. On the way back down, folks, I found it. So I'm almost back to where the quads are. They're literally just beyond this little hump of dirt right there. That's probably from here, I don't know, maybe about 60 yards. And I turned over here, and I just happened to look up this canyon. There it is. Let's go check it out. Oh, that's fine. Go this way. The rock doesn't appear to be the same color as it does in a very, very old photograph. With all these rocks, we really need to be careful and watch out for things that can jump out and bite you. I do have a snake bite kit, but you know, that's back at the quad, and this only lasts for a moment. There it is. Okay. So what I wonder is to get a footing. So clearly we have the marker, and it's in the same orientation as it is in the photograph. This bush wasn't there in the photograph, which is kind of what's probably thrown me off and not being able to find it. But you can see some evidence of maybe some fire, some smoke. Did they hide treasure here? I don't know. Anyway, this is actually more difficult to find than I would have thought. The author of the book did say that you should be able to look up from the wash that we were just in and see it. The direction it's facing, though, it's kind of facing a little bit upwash, and it's obscured a little bit by this ridge here of this little hill. And that makes it, when you're walking up the wash, hard to find. But coming down, I just happened to stop, turn to my right. There she is. Okay, so with that map, I'm going to walk back down to the quads, get ready to go back down to the truck. Okay, then. So I know I keep referring to that as the Spanish treasure marker. And that's really only because that's what it's referred to, you know, in the book. I don't think I want to walk over the hills. Let's go down the wash. Okay. Anyway, that's what it's referred to by the author of the book. I don't know if that's what it really is or not. You know, we're here in Black Canyon. We're just outside of Black Canyon. And there's a lot of Indian, Native American, you know, rock art, petroglyphs, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of it in the canyon. So maybe that's what that is. I don't know. Maybe that could be left from the Indians or Native Americans. Either way, pretty excited to have finally found it. Well, back at the quads, we're going to go ahead and load up, put the helmets and things back on, head back to the truck, probably directly, take a little route through Black Mountain, wave at whatever that's called, Scouts Cove, as we go by, and then I think that'll do it. I'll meet you back at the truck. Oh, and for reference, from here, probably can't tell, but right in that little tiny little canyon right there, that's where it was. But instead we hiked way up that way. I know exercise is good for you, but that's exercise I didn't think I needed today. Okay. I don't know if you can see it, viewers, but that's where we are. Spanish treasure pointer. Pretty much right where it says it is. Sure. Anyway, I think we're about ready to go. Are you ready over there? Yep. Thumbs eye. Okay. So viewers, I'm pretty excited about this because I've come out to try to find things in the desert sometimes, several times, a few times. And a lot of the times I don't really find everything I'm looking for. Ooh, that's a bit off camber right there. Anyway, a lot of times I don't find everything I'm looking for. And the last time I came to try to find, you know, that treasure pointer, I did not find it. Let's make sure the wife came through that. Oh yeah, she's fine. She's a pro. Anyway, I did not find it. And I think it was a bit of luck that I found it today even. But yeah, found everything I was looking for. Found the Spanish Arrastra, which is really part of that mine, and then actually saw some cool stuff that I didn't expect, like with the makeshift ore cart tracks. I'm assuming that's what they were used for. Probably not ore. I'm thinking more like getting rid of the debris out of the mine. Of course, found the cabin that I pretty much gave up on, and it was just in a spot that was not where I had it marked. That's okay, found it, and found some other cool stuff out there. And then, of course, found this, so I'm pretty excited. Anyway, we're going to drop back down into what is a very windy Black Canyon, head back in a northerly direction, and scoot back over to the truck. Hey, I also see some of the people we saw before are hanging out over here. That's pretty cool. Probably went for a hike up in there looking for more of them petroglyphs or hieroglyphics, rock art, whatever you want to call it. They might be geocaching. Yeah, my wife just said to me on the headset thing, she thinks they're geocaching. That could be true. There's a lot of geocaches, hundreds if not thousands of geocaches out here. We actually did that once years ago, well before I started making the channel. We found some geocaches kind of in the area. Planted one too. I'm not going to tell you where it is. Maybe I'll put a link to the geocache article, whatever it's called, down in the description below. Yeah, I'll do that. Well, viewers, we stopped on our way down and looked at the kind of drove up next to what's the remains of the Ballarat stagecoach stop. I'm going to link that video as well. Oddly, it may or may not be the same video of the first time I went looking for the Spanish treasure marker. No, it definitely was the same video. Anyway. All right, everybody. Well, I went ahead and loaded everything up, changed my shirt back, because wind's blowing easily like 40 miles an hour. I'm not even kidding. Could be more. It's hard enough just to stand up out there, let alone try to film. But anyway, we finished up loading up. You can see the quads back there in the mirror, right there. Anyway, lost my train of thought. That's all right, because I'm a little tired now. Oh yeah, we're done for the day. I hope you all had fun on our little adventure with us. You know, very seldom do I set out to find things and find all of them. So that was pretty nice. Got to get out for a ride. It's been a while since we've been out riding. The wife and I definitely needed that for sure. Some desert therapy, if you will. This road's got some bumps. Hold on. There we go. But anyway, I think that'll do it. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Like I said, hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed it. If you wouldn't mind, you know, I really appreciate all of you that watch the videos, like them, share them, make some comments with some words down, you know, in the place below the video. And I read those comments and I answer back as many of those as I can. And I look forward to seeing you out in the desert for the next one. I guess that'll do it. In the meantime, you ride safe and we'll see you later. Bye-bye now.